Amber. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy to have all of you here to be able to learn a little bit more about expressive arts and experience the process with a group and um, get an opportunity to hopefully experience something new and something that hopefully will help you today for yourselves as well. I don't know if we want to share the PowerPoint right now, Jay. Are you ready for that? So I'll just share a little bit. My name is Betsy Funk. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and registered expressive arts therapist. And Jay and I began our journey together when we founded Omaha Therapy and Arts Collaborative back in 2016. And at that time, I was delving in expressive arts and bringing an expressive arts program to the school systems through Project Harmony. And Jay and I founded a collaborative with a group of social workers and clinical therapists together. And then gradually through the years, Jay began some training in expressive arts, and we connected with another person, Natalie Hogue. And the three of us co founded Nebraska Expressive Arts Therapy Foundation in 2022. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that's a 501c3 nonprofit. And we do a lot of trainings and expressive arts experiences for people in Omaha and surrounding communities. As you can see here, I'm a wife and a mom. I'm a KC native, so go Chiefs. I'm a little burnout like everybody is on Chiefs, but go Chiefs this weekend. I graduated from Expressive Arts Florida Institute. Talked about social work and OTAC and Next, and their great kids group. I'm happy to be with you all today.
And everybody, I'm Jay Tice, and just kind of forward here. There we go. I'm originally from Canada, so I've been in the States for about 15 years now, but I still consider myself to be um, Canadian and American. I have two teenage boys that I'm wrestling with right now that are a lot of fun, and I'm getting ready to start moving towards thinking about college for them. I'm also a clinical social worker and danced my whole life. So movement is a big piece. We'll talk a little bit more about the different modalities here in a few minutes. Love movement. Betsy and I were able to attend a drama kind of workshop retreat that we did with the school, and that really hit a warm spot with me and love using it with the kids. And then also visual art is a favorite modality of mine. I have two German Shepherd dogs. So they're my youngest actually asked me in the car this morning, like, why do you love German Shepherds so much? And I'm like, I don't know. They're just amazing dogs.
Mhm.
And also Jeeps. And then co-founded OTAC with Betsy in 2016 and then the Next Foundation in 2022. So I was going to ask people to maybe turn their cameras on for this one because it's more helpful if we can see people for the introductions. And this is a virtual ball toss. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. So if you're available and you can turn your cameras on, that would be awesome. So this is one of the drama improv icebreakers that we'll sometimes do with groups. We can do it in person and we can do it virtually. And we're going to have this like imaginary ball and we're going to all be really awesome at catching things. So everyone's going to catch the ball when it comes to you. And you're going to say the name of the person that you're throwing it to so they can be ready to catch. And then when you catch the ball, you're going to say your name and one thing if you want to share about yourself, and then kind of what brought you here today. So I'm Jay. I kind of told you a little bit about me. I love German Shepherds, Jeeps, and dance. And I'm here today to meet all of you and try to kind of share the excitement that I have about expressive arts as a really important intervention for promoting positive mental health with with all of us, but especially our younger population. And I'm going to throw to Betsy first so that she can demonstrate how it goes. You ready?
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
good
Wow.
catch.
Thanks. All right. So Betsy Funk. Yeah, I didn't tell you about my kids. I've got three kiddos. Everyone's kind of moving into high school years. I've got one finishing middle school, a junior in high school, and I have a freshman in college. And I have two cats and a dog. So that's a little bit about my family. I will throw it to Sarah. You ready?
My name's Sarah Caniglio. I'm at Plattsmouth Elementary. I'm a social worker here, and I am really drawn to using the arts with kids. They love when they're only in here for a short amount of time when I work with them, but seems like every little thing revolves around being able to give them something to do, and then you get them really talking. So would love to start some groups this year and really, well, like we've started some groups, but next year looking to be more like art focused and do something interesting and fun. I'm going to throw this ball to Emily. Watch out, Ems.
Did you say me, Sarah? Okay, it's a passing period on a Friday, so there is like music blaring. I don't know if you can even hear me right now. Okay, I think it. Sorry. Can I pass it off for the moment and come back after the music is gone? Okay, sorry.
That's totally fine. Here, pick someone and throw it to them. Just say their name and throw it, and they'll start. Emily.
I'm sorry. Could you guys, there's music playing in the hallways.
All I
So
can hear is you. I don't hear any background noise. I don't know about others.
there was music blaring, so I couldn't hear anything that was going on. So,
Oh, okay.
um, okay, so I'm gonna catch it. My name's Emily Boisere, and I'm a school counselor, and I am doing the training because I would really like to be able to run these groups within our school. We have, I mean, usually they're the most popular requested groups among these kids, and typically we only get a couple a year that we have to split. So, I enjoy being outside and hanging out with my family. I love animals and cooking and reading. I'm gonna throw it to my partner who's right next to me. This is Lindsay.
Look at that. I caught it with one hand. I'm Lindsay Eisenmenger. I'm a school counselor at Liberty. Um, I'm really excited to be able to run an expressive arts therapy group here. I've seen the tremendous impact they've had when Jay's had groups here at school and Betsy has had groups here at our school. So we thank you guys, and thanks for inspiring us to learn how to run this kind of group too. Outside of school, I am a professional spectator of my children's activities. And then I also like to kickbox and read. So I'm gonna throw it to, let's see, Jewel.
Good morning. I'm Jewel Schifrins. I'm the school social work coordinator at Children's Nebraska and get to work in partnership with Amber to bring this wonderful training to you all today. A little bit about me. I have three boys. One's 25, one's 15, and one's 11. So we've got a whole range. Currently trying to survive a teenager and a preteen. They both have ADHD, and so school is super fun in our family. And my mom is an artist, and my mother-in-law is a writer, and so art is really important in our family. And I am going to pass the ball to Alexandra.
Hi, I'm Alexandra. I also go by Allie, but it's spelled ALE, so I changed it on there so I wouldn't get called Ale. But I am an LMHP. I work with ESU 8 in out of Neely, Nebraska, but I serve Norfolk Middle School, which is primarily fifth and sixth graders. And so I want to use this training really just to get creative. I know they're fifth and sixth, but we have such a wide variety of maturity levels across that span, and so just any tools in my bucket in order to help them be able to open up and express themselves is always great. Outside of school, a little bit about me. I have two little girls. I have a 3-year-old and a 10-month-old who doesn't like to sleep. So we are navigating that joyous time. I also have a dog named Cheeto, and we enjoy spending a lot of time with family. My husband's a big golfer, so we're really excited for these warmer months to start coming, and I get to be a cart queen with the girls, so we're really excited about that. But I am going to toss it to Carrie.
Okay, thank you. I'm Carrie Rothansel. I am a school psychologist at Peter Sarpy Elementary and Bellevue Public Schools. And I have two kids. I have a 12-year-old son that goes to Papillion, so he'll be headed to middle school next year. And then I've got a fourth grader that also is in Papillion schools. And they're both into lots of different activities. And so I'm a chauffeur, basically. That's my hobby right now. I have a book that I bring along with me, um, and then I'm excited to just add another tool to my box here in working with kids. And right now I've got two groups that have just started. Um, and I just am looking forward to having another curriculum to use or just different techniques. There's Connections comes in and has an expressive arts therapy group. They're just getting started right now. So we've got like 8 third graders that are going to meet with them. And I'm like, I want to do that. I want, so I'm really excited to use this next year. And I'm going to toss it to Araceli.
Good morning. My name is Araceli Vasquez, and I work for Omaha Public Schools. I work at Castle Elementary. I actually had 3 kids. One is 9 years old, 6 years old, and 6 months old. And then basically, over the summer, we just like to spend a lot of time outside. So yes, I'm looking forward for the warm weather. And then I'm going to toss the ball to Caroline.
Hi, I'm Carlina. I am a mental health therapist at an elementary school, and I'm interested in this just to know how I can use it. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to learn how to use it, so I'm excited for that. And I'm a twin. I have an identical twin sister. That's the fun fact about me. No children though, so we lucked out of that at this moment in our life. Um, is I'm gonna go by your last name because I'm not positive how to say your first name, but Beller, I'm gonna toss it to you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Shemaine Beller, and I am a counselor for Omaha Public Schools. I am at Wakanda Elementary, and we also have Connections come out and do this expressive arts group. I have my provisional license for the mental health practitioner, so I would like to be able to do these groups as well. And I know it's hard to get connections into buildings in OPS. So just another tool, like most of you, to have in our toolboxes so that we can support our children. And I'm going to throw the ball to who has not had it yet. Victoria.
Hi guys, I am not going to turn my camera on because I'm pumping and I don't want to flash anybody. So, I am Tori. I work for LPS part-time. I work at Hartley Elementary, and the other 2 days a week I get to stay home with my 2 daughters. I have an almost 3-year-old and a 10-month-old. But really, I just wanted to take this training because a lot of the work I do with kids, the way they get to open up is through art and drawing and coloring. And so this piqued my interest because it's a tool that we definitely can utilize in the schools when we work with kids. So, Angie, I'm going to throw the ball to you even though you can't see me throw it.
Yes, hi. I don't have my camera turned on because I'm in the car with my dad. We're driving to my son's track meet in Maryville, Missouri. He is a multi-event for UNK. So I am joining this training today because I'm transitioning from school counselor to full-time mental health counselor in my school district next year. And so I'm going to be working more with kids, and so just trying to gain some new skills. and I can't really see who all the participants are. So I don't know if there's anybody that hasn't had the ball yet.
I think maybe just Amber. Amber, did you get a chance yet?
So
No,
Anybody else?
I'll
throw the
pretend
ball
to.
to Amber then.
Looks like she's frozen. Amber,
Um,
Amber.
yes.
Oh, we can hear you.
Sorry,
Here we go.
hear me. My internet, of course, cut out when I was trying to talk. Um, I lead our Project Aware grant that we have through the federal government. And so part of that grant is to build sustainability around school mental health efforts. And that's part of our hope with this training. And then the subsequent trainings is just to build sustainability around different efforts. And I'm very excited to learn more about this particular training and opportunity. I have two children. I have a 10-year-old daughter and an almost 7-year-old son. And we have a dog and two kittens that we just got. They're like 5 months old, and it has been so fun to watch them grow, and they have brought a lot of joy to our life. So, as frustrating that they can be sometimes, especially in the middle of the night, they're a lot of fun. So, I will pass it back to Betsy and Jay.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I feel like now we can kind of be together in the space and know a little bit more about each other. I'm just going to reshare the PowerPoint, and Betsy, if you want to
Sure.
start first, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right. So as I said earlier, I started my training in expressive arts therapy back in 2013, which is crazy to think that it's been 12 years since I've started this journey. But I was a mental health therapist with Lutheran Family Services at that time. And I was working with the R-Safe program primarily with children that had been exposed to sexual abuse and neglect and some pretty intense stuff. And prior to that, I was a CPS worker actually before I went into clinical mental health. And I really, really wanted, like you all have said, to learn more about how to bring the arts into my work with children, because the arts were such an important way for them to process. And I was already using that in therapy, but I didn't really feel like I kind of knew what I was doing. I kind of felt like I was dabbling. And I've researched actually what kind of program I wanted to do, and I found expressive arts actually through just looking and finding what was out there. And the reason why I was drawn to it was because it encompasses all the creative art modalities instead of just drama therapy or single modality therapeutic work. It involves all the arts. So I wonder if we want to skip to the next slide. Yeah, so expressive arts therapy is a professional field of study. It's governed by IATA, which is the International Expressive Arts Therapy Association. I'm actually a board on IATA, or I'm a board member of IATA. It is truly international, and our board is comprised of about 30 different people just on the board itself who are from all over the world. And if you ever attend a conference, it's amazing how many people are a part of it. So expressive arts is a worldwide field. And we offer credentials through IATA called REAT, which is what Jay and I have received our training for, Registered Expressive Arts Therapist. But there's also REASE, which is Registered Expressive Arts Consultant Educator. So that would be for someone who wants to use it in a teaching modality or maybe spiritual director or a life coach. But one of the key aspects of expressive arts is that I said it is multimodal, so visual art, creative art, movement, music, drama. But we say it's intermodal in that a lot of times we'll incorporate more than one art process in a session. So today we'll do a little bit of art. We may have time for some creative writing, but oftentimes we weave a couple of different things together, and that deepens the person's experience with their own creative wisdom. And it contrasts from other therapies, as I was saying, in that it's instead of it being single modality, it's multimodality. Expressive arts therapy field really felt good to me in terms of my background as a social worker, because it's really about the artist as the knower and the artist and their own internal wisdom and dignity of what they know about themselves and what comes through the art, and how they can express that to other people. So rather than me being the knower and the wise one in terms of what they're making, you share with other people what I'm creating and what it means to me. And there's also a community impact and a macro level global impact in terms of expressive arts. So there's lots of ways that the arts are used at a micro and a macro level. And I think that so in that way it can be really powerful depending on the community and the setting. We use it in groups and individuals and with agencies. And one of the main frameworks of expressive arts therapy is that being creative is really innate to who we are as human beings. We all have a creative spark. Maybe we don't consider ourselves an artist, but we all have a creative potential inside of us, even if it's something like gardening or cooking or music. I mean, there's ways that we can explore our creativity, and by not tapping into that, we're missing a big part of ourselves. And so expressive arts, although it's been a field of study for 30 years, it's really based on what's been happening in humanity all throughout time, is utilizing the arts for ceremony and for important life changes and for healing and to prayer and ritual. And so we want to make sure that we understand this is something that's just part of humanity, but expressive arts has been able to create kind of a field of study around that and bring that back into humanity, because I think there's been a time that we've sort of gone away from that as essential to who we are in our core. You can read this quote. I'm not going to read it to you, but it's important in terms of how these different pieces of art and creative making are important to us as humans.
And just to kind of build on what Betsy was saying, one of the things that we also try to reintegrate is the joy that comes from creativity with our students and ourselves, and not just good or bad or art that is graded for a purpose. So a lot of people that come into the expressive arts for therapy have that place of judgment about, like, I don't create because I'm not the best at it, or what I create isn't beautiful enough. So we really focus back on the process, not the outcome or not the product. And so bringing the joy back into creation, not just creating a product, right? It's about how do you feel in the moment. So, like Betsy was saying earlier, there are a bunch of different modalities that we incorporate into the expressive art. So that's the lovely thing about it, is that whatever your strength or comfort level, you can engage in those activities and maybe add some that you're not as comfortable with. So expressive arts includes visual art. So that can be things like drawing, painting. Also, clay can create visual art and also have a tactile component to it. We also incorporate movement. So that could be dance. It could be just moving to sound, but essentially like moving your body, moving to your artwork. We also include breath work and meditation, so that you'll notice today that we start the process with meditation. We also incorporate yoga, which can include the meditation and movement component. And then sounding, voice, music, and music is something that really resonates with our kiddos, especially in the group. They connect a lot with the music and the lyrics that their favorite artists create. We encourage creative writing, poetry, and storytelling as part of an expressive modality, and then performance art. So drama, improv, like we kind of did with throwing the ball earlier on today. And then role playing is a really awesome and probably one of the most loved activities that we do with the kids in school, where we give them an opportunity to problem solve or work through a scenario using drama and role playing in the group setting, where they can kind of work through some of the challenges that they might be having at school, at home, and in other environments. And then in terms of expressive arts guidelines, one of the important things that we want to reinforce for the group is confidentiality. So just like any therapeutic setting, what is shared in the group stays in the group. There is acceptance of the imagery. So a lot of times we'll have a kiddo say, oh, I don't like this image, or this isn't turning out the way that I want it to. And so just supporting them in, a lot of times I'll say, like, respect each other, respect the art. When we create art, we encourage people to ask and not tell. So when someone's sharing their art, we want to try to avoid them saying, like, oh, that looks like this thing, or you must feel this way because you created this art. So we encourage other people when they're observing the art to ask questions about it, like, I'm curious about this color that you used, or I wonder how you feel when you look at this image. We want to be a witness and not an interpreter. So we are there to support the person in intensifying their relationship with their artwork rather than interpreting what that art might mean about how they feel. We want to respect each other's boundaries around artwork, what people are willing to share and not willing to share, because art really can take us to a very deep place. There's sort of this 5 minutes or so at the beginning of many processes where it feels like people are kind of sitting on the surface and not really sure how to dive in. But once people settle down into creative processes, it really does take us to a deeper place, and some really important and significant things can come up while we're creating. There's a need for simmering time, which is just kind of letting the artwork percolate. We might look at it first and not really be clear on what it's bringing to us. And so allowing it to kind of set aside and come back to it later to reflect on again. Being able to trust the process and yourself, that even things that might feel uncomfortable are okay. Knowing that you're in a safe space and knowing that you can explore. And then allowing us to relax into the process as well. And then some of the benefits are self-awareness. So we're reflecting in on what's happening internally. It's really relaxing. Like when I'm sitting with students who are doing art, I find myself even becoming calm just by like the repetitive motions of the painting and being curious about what they're creating. It contributes to positive self-esteem. There is a mindfulness aspect when we are creating, an awareness of the sight and the sounds and the colors. And then also just allowing us to be present. We don't often offer ourselves the time to just sit and create. And it's really good to practice being present with our artwork and for our students to practice that as well. Creates balance in our lives. There's the opportunity for personal growth as we reflect and know ourselves better. There's a lot of joy in it. You know, creation is play. So we're playing, we're being creative, we're experimenting with new techniques and modalities. There is an authenticity as we explore our own experience and our creations, especially with the group, but just in general, it creates connection amongst group members, amongst participants, and connection with ourselves, and then contributes to healing as well for participants. And then Betsy, you want to take over?
Yeah, and so we think about expressive arts attitudes in terms of us as facilitators or practitioners bringing this to our client or our students, and the attitude that we want to convey in order for people to feel safe to open up creatively. So presence is the way that you present yourself and the way that you engage. Being playful and having fun. Again, Jay talked about non-judgment, so encouraging others not to judge each other's work and also trying to acknowledge our inner critic. Trusting the process rather than worrying about the outcome. We also talk about low skill and high sensitivity. That means a lot of the processes that we bring to the table are not difficult. They're not high skill art, trained art type of things. Sometimes that happens if someone wants that, but for the most part, we're using materials that most people are pretty comfortable with, but that can create a really, really intense experience. So that's the low skill, high sensitivity piece. Intermodality, we talked about bringing in multiple art modalities together in a process. And we talk about the third. The third means that when you create a piece of art, now there's something else new in the room that's come through the person, and this own piece itself has something to say. So we've created something extra, something else is now in the room. If there's a client and a practitioner or a clinical person there, now there's this piece of artwork that we get to explore together. And then we can move on to applications. So again, we can use expressive arts at an individual level with an individual client. It's a macro. We can move up to the micro. We can move to the macro level then by bringing in dyads, so with couples. And I started this work actually as a parent-child group way back in 2014 before we brought it to Connections and before it came into the schools. That was actually the first kind of evolution of the group, was just parent and child together. And it's really beautiful to use it that way. And again, you guys have already experienced some of the group work by just being exposed to the groups that have come in through the schools. and understand how beneficial that is in a group setting. Our nonprofit is really all group work based at this point. I won't go into great detail about that right now, but Jay and I are pretty proud of this nonprofit that is providing all these different various group experiences for people utilizing the expressive arts. And we're having a great number of people are interested in signing up for groups, which is wonderful. And then there's these community-based opportunities where, like, sometimes we're asked to come into nonprofits and help with larger group processes. Is there anything you want to share about that, Jay?
Well, I think you covered it, and we can touch on it if we have a bit more time at the end.
Okay.
Just because we want to move into the process of getting you all to experience a little bit of the expressive arts today. One of the things that we talk about when we're working on our certification and sharing with people that will be facilitators is that it's really important for you to have your own personal process and to have experience the activities that you share with your clients or your students before asking them to engage in them. Just because we want you to be familiar with the process and then also understand, like we said, there are times where it can take you to a deep place, and it's important that we've experienced that ourselves before we ask people to join in with us. So we're going to do a little process today that Betsy's going to lead in with a meditation. So just kind of thinking about some of the preconditions as we move into this is focusing on yourself as a participant. So this is for you. It is a way to kind of breathe, relax, center, check in with yourself, and be present. Trust yourself, trust the process, be curious about what this might feel like. It's uncomfortable for us at first, especially as adults. I feel like we separate ourselves from our natural desire to play and be creative. And so there's a reconnection and a curiosity with the artwork. Having comfortability with the relationship with the unconscious process. So not always knowing, it's not a logical process necessarily. We're tapping into the creative side of the brain. And then also having courage to try something new and to be vulnerable and share with others in the process.
Okay. So I want to make sure that you have what you need in the area that you are right now. So this would be a good time to make sure you have paper, some kind of an art making, whether it's a colored pencil or a marker, watercolor. Have something by you. I'm going to walk you through a quick few-minute guided meditation. And this meditation is called What Do I Need? Or this process is called What Do I Need in This Moment? We created this for you all right now because I think there's just a lot going on in our communities, in our world, and probably within yourself. And so we wanted you to have an opportunity to kind of explore that a little bit. So when you're ready, I'm going to start this guided meditation. You can close your eyes if you'd like to. If that's not comfortable for you, that's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. And then what will happen is once the guided meditation is complete, I'll have you jump directly into the art making, and we'll have about 15 minutes or so to make some art. And then we'll jump back in together as a group. Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, all right. So with an awareness of the noise and discordance that you may be experiencing in your daily life, and an awareness of your own vision and commitment, both personally and professionally, take some deep, slow breaths and allow your eyes to close or soften in focus. Connect with your own creativity, inviting its wisdom and regenerative power into you by imagining it as an energy, a light, a color, a sound, or a vibration. Take a moment to breathe that in, allowing it to move into all the places in your body, mind, heart, and spirit that need it most. Let that creative energy bring you back to your innermost self, your center, your essence. Let yourself settle into stillness. As you move from the outer noise, seek the stillness of your own center. Feel your feet planted firmly on the floor, connected with the earth, grounding you in your own center. Feel the energy of the earth moving up through the soles of your feet and all the way up through your body and out the top of your head into the sky. And breathing deeply, bring the energy down from the sky, through your body, and back down through the soles of your feet and into the earth. Allow this column of energy to ground you in the present moment, embodied, connected. From this place, bring into your mind's eye the strengths you carry within yourself. Be aware of different aspects of yourself. Notice what in you feels strong. Notice what in you feels creative. Notice now what feels lacking. Allow your imagination to engage the subject of inner wisdom and inner courage, and simply notice, without judgment, what arises for you. Now go just a little deeper into yourself. Imagine your awareness coming to rest in your very essence, the place where your greatest gifts lie. Notice how this feels in your body and in your heart. Explore this place, noticing colors, sounds, textures, rhythms, and smells. In this place, you are discovering now your own unique gift, a jewel, born from your nature and your life experience, that you can bring with you into yourself and into the world. This gift is something you need in this moment in time. It may be an object, a concept, or an idea. Allow what you need to make itself known to you. Imagine this gift takes a shape that you can hold in your hand, polish it off, and bring it back with you. Bring your gift back to yourself, where it brings more wisdom into your own being. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you imagine? Take a few moments to notice what is stirring within you, and notice without judgment. Again, feel your feet connected with the earth. Feel the energy moving through you from your feet to the top of your head, connecting and embodying you. Connect with your own abundant creativity and inner wisdom, allowing it to fill you up. Notice any colors that may come into your mind's eye, images, symbols, rhythms, sounds, textures, patterns, shapes. Now bring yourself very gently back into the room and let your eyes come to rest on the art materials in front of you. And when you're ready, you can spontaneously choose the first color and make the first mark. Just follow your creative impulse to invite and discover what arrives. You may choose a visual response or a poem or creative writing, or both. But we're going to create for about 10 or so minutes, and then we'll check in with everyone and join back together. I would ask you to take a few minutes to see if you can come to a stopping place. I think one of the hardest parts sometimes is coming to a close if you're in the middle of something that you're kind of into. And that's always that was the hardest for us at least. So we're going to try to come back together here. And all right. Jay, do you want to pick up from here? You want me to continue?
All right, so we're just gonna give you a second to take in whatever image that you've created and have you title it with a word or a phrase. So looking at your image, choose a word or a phrase. And then at the end, we'll have a chance to share it and kind of have everybody witness it.
Natalie Ho. And that is called the Nebraska Expressive Arts Foundation. And we're located at 1111 North 13th downtown. Jay, you want to talk a little bit about our programs that we offer?
Yes, absolutely. So we are really excited to, over the past 2.5 years or so, have piloted some really awesome groups. We have the Great Kids group and the Great Teens group that we're offering twice a year right now. And then we also have summer programming available to kids and teens that we've collaborated with Project New Lens and some of the different like West Side schools, and have Completely Kids, where they've brought some of their students in to have those experiences. We are also offering groups for vulnerable adults. So we have a women's trauma group that Natalie Hogue has piloted and is running. And I started a Women of Change group for women who are in transition. So primarily I was working with women that were completing drug court. But it can be a transition from any higher level of care to independent living so that people still have a sense of community when they're making those big transitions and all the supports that were present kind of drop away. Natalie has also been running a program called Zen Den, which is an hour-long creative process for individuals at the Sienna Francis House. So that's a mixed group with men and women who are in recovery. And we offer a number of in-school opportunities when we're requested by groups to respond to student loss. We've supported grief experiences in the workplace where they've had losses. And then we're also offering workshops for professionals and other adults in the community who both want to come and do their own personal processing, work on managing secondary traumatic exposure, burnout in the workplace, and then educational opportunities for professionals like yourselves who are looking to expand really their experiences and their tools in the expressive arts. And then we've brought in a number of co-facilitators. So individuals who do sound baths, who have done voicing. We've had a stop motion video educational opportunity. We've done trauma and expressive arts interventions put together. And we always offer those on our websites as well. So there's opportunities for professionals and then special groups, which is where we usually have our group experiences. And we are also launching an expressive arts program. Here in the next year or so, we'll have a cohort starting where people can complete courses towards their REIT, similar to how Betsy and I completed the EAFI program. We'll offer that here in Nebraska as well. So we're beginning to collect interest from people. We've had a couple of webinars to talk about what that program might look like, and then launching our first cohort, hopefully here in the next semester or so. Did I miss anything, Betsy?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And I think as we get ready here to wrap up together, what we'd like to ask you to do is to put the word or the phrase that you came up with your art piece in the chat. So go ahead and just put your, just so that everybody can see it. Go ahead and put that word. Okay, and we're going to do something with that here at the very end. All right, everybody's bringing that in. We want to get any final questions before we wrap up here. Any burning questions that we have? I don't see anything in the chat.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Do we
Yes.
know when the training is in July? Is there
Yes.
additional?
Yep, I think Jewel just put that in the chat. It's July 16th through the 18th, right?
Yeah, I just shared the Canva flyer link in the chat. We are looking at hosting that in the Kearney area. But if that is a challenge, Amber and I were just kind of communicating about potentially looking at hosting something in Omaha Metro as well.
Yes, just depending on who has interest in that training in July, we will look at kind of location. If it's mostly people from the eastern part of the state, then we can definitely look at relocating that training to be more centrally located to those who are attending. So, but we are planning on those dates in July.
Yeah, we're excited to have you all out and really dig in. I think it'll be a good experience. Any final questions? So we'd like to encourage you to, if you feel comfortable, to share your art piece with the screen. Everybody can share this up here. Go ahead and hold up your artwork if you're on camera. And I'm going to go ahead and just read through all of our statements. We have a season of life, holding hearts, the light cannot be extinguished. I am, flow and peace, power, inner peace, hope and promise, joy, peace, love, engulfed, empowered to stand, serene, peaceful, and quiet. Awesome. Beautiful.
That was great. Thank you, everybody, for sharing.
Thank you for being here today and being here this morning and taking an hour of your time to learn about expressive arts. We hope to see many of you this summer. If you need anything or you have any questions, we're always available. You can reach out to us at any time. And there's a post-training survey.
Yes, if you could all take a quick minute to click on that QR code and do our post survey, we would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everybody. Happy weekend. Thanks for being here.